Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're diving into a concept we all think we understand, quality. But we're doing it through a really unique lens. Our source material isn't your typical report. It's actually a rich personal reflection. It's full of memories and experiences from Saudi Arabia. It's less about, raw data and more about how one person's observations can reveal some really surprising insights into industry, service, even cultural values. And maybe the most surprising thing, this whole realization gets sparked by something, well, pretty mundane. A chat about baking powder.
It really is amazing, isn't it, how these seemingly small, everyday details can point towards these massive underlying structures, these deep commitments to excellence, this deep dive. It's not just about what quality is, but sort of how that commitment works its way through a whole society's approach to work and service. It's a journey into values, really.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our author talks about sitting at his desk working on research. His door was slightly open, and he overhears some guests chatting. Now, he might not have paid much attention, except one voice pipes up talking about cooking. And here's the specific line that caught his ear. If you find Saudi-made baking powder, buy it immediately. It's guaranteed quality, made from high-quality and expensive materials, and it won't ruin the recipe you're working on. The author even adds his own thought. Yes, by God, she is right, and I attest to what you say for all products and at all levels. So this simple comment, this confidence about baking powder it clicked with his own experiences.
Yeah, that's fascinating. They're little domestic details, like a small window, isn't it? It hints at this wider culture of quality that goes way beyond just kitchen staples, into really complex industries. It suggests, I think, a real level of trust in local production,
Yeah.
a kind of baseline expectation of excellence. What does that strike you as meaning, that level of confidence in an everyday item?
Well, there must be this assumption almost that local stuff will just work, that it'll deliver. It implies a track record, doesn't it? Reliability people count on, which is pretty powerful.
Exactly. Precisely. And that comment, it made the author think back to his own work history.
Hmm.
He specifically remembers working at a major Saudi iron manufacturing company. This was before 2008.
Hmm.
And he describes their quality assurance and quality control department, the QA/QC team, as being staffed by the finest and most successful engineers.
He even gives us this really vivid picture, doesn't he? Engineer Atef Ajlan from QC, engineer Mansour from QA. He sees them in their overalls and safety hats of different colors right there, overseeing things. You can almost picture it.
You really can. It's a great visual, and it underscores that hands-on commitment. The author talks about this incredibly rigorous process they had. Quality was managed right from its very beginning. So from just thinking about getting materials through manufacturing delivery, sometimes even installing it on site, total process control. And they stuck to strict ISO specifications, sharp as a sword.
Hmm. For anyone listening, ISO specs are these international standards ensuring consistency, reliability. They had this meticulous process with specific hold points, places where the QC head himself would actually come and watch tests to make sure everything was compliant. This isn't just checking at the end, it's building quality in step by step. What do you think drives that sword-sharp commitment? Is it just rules or something more?
I suspect it's got to be a mix. Sure, regulations probably set a minimum bar, but sharp as a sword, that sounds like pride. Like an internal drive that goes way beyond just ticking boxes. It suggests they know their reputation, the trust people place in them, depends on that constant quality. It actually links right back to the baking powder, doesn't it? It absolutely does. It's the same principle, just scaled up massively. So this super detailed industrial process, it's not some random thing. It connects directly to that baking powder trust. It shows how this culture of really careful quality control seems to run through different sectors, ensuring things meet tough standards from the ground up.
And this commitment, it didn't just stay in manufacturing. The author then talks about his time as a project manager. This was for a Saudi Aramco project, and he really emphasizes how critical quality was in these huge high-stakes projects. He remembers having weekly meetings for quality assurance and control that were equivalent to the meetings for monitoring the entire project. Think about that.
Wow, equivalent.
Yeah.
That's a serious level of priority. It shows that for these massive projects in Saudi Arabia, quality isn't some final check. It's not an afterthought. It's running in parallel, just as crucial, getting the same attention as tracking the whole project's progress.
Yeah.
What do you think it takes for quality to get that level of focus?
Well, thinking about Aramco, the sheer scale, right, and how vital their work is, national resources, infrastructure, any failure could be catastrophic. So prevention through quality assurance, it just has to be as important as hitting deadlines. It's about fundamental integrity, I think.
That makes complete sense. Absolute sense. Now, the author shifts gears a bit. He tells this really interesting story about the brilliance of Saudis also in providing services and commercial transactions, and it comes via buying a car. He gives some background first. He was involved in the two grade of gasoline project back in 2007. This was a big deal. King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz wanted to offer 91-octane gas at a more affordable price for working people. And this meant Saudi Aramco had to build these huge additional iron tanks at facilities all across the kingdom: Jeddah, Abha, Jazan, Tabuk, and so on. He mentioned specifics like two tanks with a capacity of 150,000 barrels with a floating roof, 45 meters across, 15 high in Jeddah. Similar elsewhere. Our author was managing the projects in Jeddah, Jizan, and Abha. Monumental work. Huge scale quality again. And as a kind of reward for all that work, he decided to buy himself a 2007 Toyota Camry from Abdul Latif Jamil. He really liked his capabilities and luxury.
Right, and here's where the service quality comes in. It gets personal. He asks his cousin, Hassan Ahmed Shams, who managed a Toyota branch, for advice. And the cousin says, buy it from the Medina Road branch, because they have a big maintenance warehouse right there. Makes service much easier down the line. Smart advice. And it turns out another cousin, Muhyiddin Musa Muslim, was the sales manager at that very branch. Small world, but it speaks to that network, that understanding of customer needs.
Exactly. Practicality baked right into the sales advice. And the experience just kept getting better. When he actually picked up the car, he went to this impressive workshop they held just for new owners. It was designed specifically to help them, deal with it professionally and derive maximum benefit from it. Customer education, essentially.
But the real eye-opener for him was the maintenance workshop itself. He says, back in 2007, mind you, it was almost automated. That sounds incredibly advanced for the time, doesn't it? An automated service center?
It really does. And it makes you wonder, right? What kind of foresight, what investment went into setting that up so early? The engineer there walked him through the whole maintenance cycle, from when you drop off the car to when you get it back. Very systematic. He also mentions how crucial periodic maintenance was a red line, he calls it, for keeping the warranty valid. That reinforces the seriousness. And the whole process, the author says, was just marked by professionalism, a precise system for checking every single part, like those floating roofs on the oil tanks, another example of smart engineering detail for safety and quality.
Yeah, that focus on process, on every detail, it's impressive. And that's why the author wraps up this part with such a strong recommendation. He basically says, if you want to learn about quality and its reliability and how it is monitored, you should buy one of their products and follow up with their service department. That's quite the testimonial, isn't it? Directly linking the product quality to the service quality.
It really is.
Yeah.
So when you pull it all together, we started with baking powder, this tiny domestic detail, and it led us through massive iron manufacturing, critical national infrastructure projects with Aramco, and then into this incredibly sophisticated, customer-focused car dealership service. What emerges is this really consistent, deep-rooted commitment to quality, yes, but also to engineering excellence, to professionalism, right across different parts of Saudi society, it seems. You can really feel the author's admiration for the people, their work ethic, their contributions, coming through these stories. Quality feels like a core value, not just a box to tick.
Absolutely. It paints a picture of quality as something deeply embedded. So maybe a thought to leave you with as you go about your day. What seemingly small things, what interactions of products might actually be telling a bigger story? A story about a deep commitment to quality, whether it's in something you use or a service you get. It makes you think, what does it really mean for a society, for a culture, to value excellence like that at every single level, from the everyday like baking powder all the way up to monumental?